the idea of being a hustler, sometimes it could be really self-centered, right? You think about your goals, where you're headed and stuff like that. But you spoke about like being in there and feeling what your colleagues feeling or your family is feeling. And to me that requires empathy.
When you and I first started talking, and what
Mhm,
got my attention about what you're bringing to the table was, generally speaking, just for lack of a better term, your hustle,
mhm.
right? So you were with, a lot of people won't know this, with Epic Records. You worked yourself from street teams all the way up into the suite level.
Yep.
Talk about your hustle a little bit, because for me, grit and hustle, never mind your resume, never mind where your degree may come from, or where, where you went to school, where you're educated. If you
Right.
have the grit and the hustle and the drive, that takes you to another level. That's more useful to me than an Ivy League
Mhm.
degree,
For
right?
sure.
Tell me about your hustle from the street teams all the way to today.
Wow. Yeah, so one, I'm from New York City, so I felt like that drive is
As if that wasn't obvious
yeah.
already from the
I feel like that drive is kind of embedded into you. So you wake up, you got to go to work. You're fighting to get on the train. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's thousands of people on the platform,
Right.
so you got to push your way onto the train just to make it on work on time. You know what I mean?
That's
So
interesting.
that's bred into you, right? If I don't push people out my way, I'm not gonna
You're not going to get there.
I'm not gonna get there, right? That's the culture of New York City. And I kind of like applied that to everything I've done in life. So in college, that's when I started throwing parties. I didn't ask to throw parties. People at that time were walking up to me like, "Hey, where's the next event? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
What's going on tonight?" And being an entrepreneur, I was like, people keep coming to me, asking me where to go. I need to tell them where to go. And
Hmm.
that started my like party uh entrepreneur export. I started throwing parties, right? There throwing parties, I blanketed and I was all around Philadelphia, and that led me to an internship at 100.3 The Beat, where I supported Kendra G Radio and Charlemagne, who's now on the Breakfast Club. Like I burnt him his first CD. And even as an intern, my that competitive nature of New York City was always instilled into me, and I would have to like outwork everybody or just do simple things right. So like um getting lunch, I wasn't afraid to get people lunch, and it's a simple task, but what would make an intern stand out was getting the lunch order right. So I made sure it was
Something as simple as that, paying attention to those details.
exactly.
And also, by the way, like, a lot of what you talk about, it sounds exhausting to me, right?
It is.
But what I've experienced from you is that level of hustle,
Mhm.
that level of detail orientation, all hours of the night, that energizes you,
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure,
So,
for
and
sure.
it's, so it takes a certain type, right? There are some people that are going to see that and feed off of it. There are others that are going to be exhausted by it and shrink away from it. So I
Absolutely.
found that very interesting.
Yeah, it goes back to the hip hop philosophy. If you think about "Can't Stop, Won't Stop," like all of those monikers is about like working, and it's not even about working, but putting in the work to make um your ideal come true. Like wherever you're
Mhm.
trying to get to, having that relentless drive to make sure you get there. You know what I mean?
Oh, because it's in stark contrast with clock watchers.
Right.
The person who's sitting at a desk, and at 4:45,
Hmm.
they're looking up and they've got their bag already packed and they're just waiting to walk out the door at
Absolutely.
4:59.
Hmm.
And so a lot of that, you talked about entrepreneur. A lot of people overuse the term entrepreneur.
Right.
The entrepreneur is the person who does not clock out, and that's for good and for
Exactly.
bad, by the way.
For
And we're
sure.
trying real hard not to make sure that you're not on the clock 24 hours.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's such an important part of it. And that's why I asked you about the hustle, because, like, if you don't kill, you don't eat.
Hmm.
If you don't hustle, you don't earn.
Right.
And that's a part of sort of our ethos.
As a man, right? How do you find that balance? Because it's always more.
It's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Mhm,
So think about, so as a man and as a father and as a leader of a team on whatever level, um, what you realize is there are moments whereby something happens, somebody is hurt, somebody's upset, somebody has reached an impasse, hit a pothole, whatever it is you want to call it, and you're experiencing the same angst that they are,
Mhm.
right? Like we're in this together, whether it's your child, your colleague, your friend, your partner, you're experiencing that together. And what you have to know, what you have to balance is the idea of, while I'm experiencing the same emotional downturn that you're experiencing, I have to uh, uh, play the role or stand in a posture
Mhm.
that provides structure, strength, and support.
Mhm.
What happens afterwards, what that means is I'm suppressing that trauma, whether it's
Wow.
major or minor. So what I have to do and what we have to do in terms of caring for ourselves is we have to understand that at some point in time we're going to have to recognize and
Mhm.
address that trauma, because we cannot continue to take that, stand up for others, take it, stand up for others, take it, stand up for others. Eventually we're going to crumble because that stuff gets compacted, and
Mhm.
it takes its toll. So that's a very, very tough balance to strike.
Mhm.
So we have to seek whatever it's going to be in terms of support for ourselves,
Mhm.
right? And that's not an easy thing to do. It's
Yeah.
not an easy thing to do.
Wow. I think you hit on something for me. Going back to like the idea of being a hustler, sometimes it could be um really self-centered, right? You think about your goals, where you're headed and stuff like that. But you spoke about like being in there and feeling what your colleagues feeling or your family is feeling. And to me that requires empathy.
Sure.
Whereas like, at the hustler sometimes could be just like on one track looking to go where they want to go, but shifting to thinking about like more of the family and community, which is interesting. So like even in your life, how were you able to make that shift?
So you have an outlet, right?
Right.
You
Yes.
box,
I box
right?
for sure.
So that is part of your release.
Hmm.
Before you get to the point of release, what's important, and you use the word empathy,
Hmm.
is that as someone is speaking, don't make the mistake of constructing your response before what is being delivered to you is received,
Hmm.
right? And that's, by the way,
Slow down.
it's human nature to be thinking about what I'm going to say in response to this.
Hmm.
But by paying attention and really being involved in the situation, whether you're sharing it or somebody is just bringing it to you,
Hmm.
stay present in that moment. This is my unsolicited, you didn't ask for this advice,
Right.
but stay with that, share that with that person, repeat the last thing that person said so that they know that you're there with them.
Hmm.
And that gives you an awful lot in the way of gravitas with the person with whom you're dealing and the person with whom you're supporting or for whom you're offering support. At that point in time, you have to make sure that you take care of yourself. Go back to the boxing ring, do whatever it is that you do to help yourself,
Hmm.
but be there and be present with the other person. And that is for me, that does two things for me. It feeds me because I know I can support others. I love you, brother. I love the people with
Sure.
whom I work. I love my family. I'm here for you. And I can only be there for you by being there fully for you. And at the same time, I have to take care of myself on the backside. You see what I mean?
Absolutely. Wow. I think you said something powerful. Being present, so important. Holding space for someone. You know, while you're with that person, you're not thinking about all the laundry list of things you have
Right.
to do.
Right.
You really just sit there and be with them, which is so simple, but also really, really powerful.
It's not something that comes natural to almost anybody either, by the way. It's an active thing. It's an intentional thing. You know what I mean? There's a real stereotype about men not listening. I mean, it's a real thing. There's also a stereotype about men not being able to remove certain barriers and be comfortable with one another. And that's a thing that we have to overcome,
Right.
right? Sitting on a couch here with you having this conversation may not be the most natural thing in the world, but like the
Yeah,
conversation is more important than that.
absolutely.
So,
Appreciate you, Tim. Thank you for your time.
Kev, I love working with you, brother. I really do.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Peace.